My name is Caculovic, and I'm the managing director of Vast Studios. It was founded by myself, Hamid, and our third partner, Sergey Klubkov, in about late 2007. And during that time, Hamid and I have established contacts and partnerships with all the major North American and Asian and European publishers, and then we've opened up our office about a year ago in March. And since inception, we've grown to a team of about 20 to 22 people. And last year, our company did put out 3 titles that are doing quite well, actually. And this year, we are planning to put out at about 6 projects. Toronto, actually, for us, number one is the fact that we live here. Do I have to put this closer? We live here, and all of our friends and family are here. And actually, we all attended school here. After school, Hamid and I and our third partner, Sergey, where we met each other, and we found out that this is such an emerging city here. A lot of the big companies are in Vancouver and in Montreal, and we decided that through casual games, we're going to build a solid foundation, solid video game company here in Toronto, and kind of put Toronto on the map as one of the leading video game cities in Ontario right now. So that's.
Another reason for us opening our office here in Toronto is the fact that there's just so much talent, in Ontario and in Toronto especially. People come from Michigan, people come from like Manitoba and Alberta and all these different places to come and study here the digital art, the video games, whether it's animation and all of that. They come here to study it. So there's a pool of talent here, but there's not enough companies here that create games. So right after these people graduate, they go somewhere else and they get jobs. And we're an innovative and creative company, so we need that fresh and young talent that's available to us. So we thought it would be a good idea to be the big company in Ontario instead of going to another province and becoming the second big company or anything like that. Yeah. John, Sergey, and I are the 3 partners. We've worked 7 days a week, 14 hours a day for the past year and a half. We haven't taken vacations or slept, for that matter, for the past year and a half. So it's difficult, but that's our strategy. We want to grow as fast as we can to get to a level where we're comfortable financially and in terms of revenue, and then we can move on to the next stages, which would be the technology sector, which would be putting out games that are like in AAA games on Xbox, on Sony system, PlayStation, Sony. And so for us, that's our strategy, to grow as fast as we can. A lot of companies don't want to do that. A lot of companies want to be the company that makes 1 game a year or 2 games every 4 years or stuff like that. But that's not our strategy. We want to grow as fast as we can. We want to be as big as we can. And that's why we call it Vast, We want to be as big company as possible in Ontario, whether it's in terms of development, publishing, distribution, and all of that put together.
The reason why we chose the casual game market basically is because it's perfect for us as small-time developers to build a solid foundation for a company with these short development times. Typically, it takes anywhere between 3 to 5 months to create a casual game, and anywhere between $60,000 to $100,000. So, with that being said, it's a great way for us to put a lot of games out a year to kind of sustain that type of profitability, as opposed for us to write up a business plan to try to receive some sort of funding for a AAA title that would take anywhere between 2 to 3 years to develop, and if not successful, could potentially bankrupt the company. So this is just a perfect way for us to secure the foundation of the company, while also striving for other means, avenues of revenue through game-related technologies and mobile games and DS titles.
We think of our company as not just a video game company. We think of ourselves as a brand. Vast as a brand. It's going to be Vast Publishing, Vast Games, Vast Mobile, Vast Software. Basically, it's a brand that we're trying to create with our company, and we want it to be a company that does the development, that does the publishing, that does the distribution. Our goal is to be like the Ubisoft, the next EA. That's what we're trying. That's what we're striving striding towards. And Casual Game was a great way for us to start to develop that foundation that we need, because as you know, just like John said, it costs millions of dollars to develop a AAA game. No one's going to give you that, $10 million, $15 million, especially if you don't have a track record of games that you've developed and they're successful. And let's say you have that track record, you put out a game and it's not successful, the company's bankrupt. So we want to build a financially stable foundation for our company first through the casual games, because it's very minimum risk. It costs $100,000 to $150,000 to develop a single title. It takes anywhere from 3 to 6 months to develop a full game. Sometimes the bigger titles go up to 9 months, but what we try to do it anywhere from 5 to 6 months maximum. So it's very easy to put out a lot of games and generate the revenue that we need, and then that can be pushed towards other sources of revenue in our company, such as the software that we're developing, our engine, and our publishing sector, and so on, basically. We are actually working on our engine. It is right now all of the games that we're developing, even though we're using the Flash interface and Flash, a lot of the software that we use is developed by us. A lot of the tools, the animation, the particle, everything that we develop is our own that we have developed. So we're developing these tools slowly, and we just hired a number of programmers that are going to be working exclusively in our engine, because we feel that there's a void for casual game engines. I mean, there is a couple Torque, there is PopCap games, but it's not for professional designers. It's not for professional. It's mostly for students that want to build games in their house, which is perfectly fine. But for a professional studio, there's not a tool out there, and that's what we think we're going to be doing, is to make an engine that's dedicated to casual games that you can then use for mobile games, and then we can build our 3D engine on top of the platform that we've already created.
We have an extensive interview process that we do, when hiring any potential artists or programmers. But we found that, due to the massive resources available here in Toronto, with a bunch of schools that specifically have game design courses around the city, we got a lot of students and a lot of people that are eager to kind of jump on board and
there's a better understanding of what it takes to create video games. We have a lot of people that are starting to learn what it takes to put things together in a video game company, and we have a lot of different schools, just like John said, in Ontario that are dedicated to video games. So these people come out, they go into the job market for a year or two, they learn a little bit, and regardless of who you hire, every company has its own culture that you have to teach to everybody. So one thing that we have developed right at the beginning, when somebody gets hired, for the first 2-3 weeks, to just watch everybody and see what the culture is, how we develop games, how we revise things, how we do our design process. So that way it takes away a lot of the questioning, especially when you're new. You want to please your boss, so you always do the right thing. So you learn as much as you can during that first 3 weeks, and then we have a very good communication level between the entire management team. Everybody talks to each other, communicates their issues. So we have a very strong support team for our staff, that even if they don't know how to do something, or if they've never done it before, there's an education process that they can go through and learn that process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of companies out there, especially in the video game industry, are being started by programmers and artists. But what people don't understand is that at the end of the day, that this is a business, and for this business to be profitable, you need your artists and you need your programmers, but then you also need the knowledge behind the actual business aspect of your company, basically. So here in Toronto, like you said, there's a lot of smaller companies, emerging. But I mean, Hamid and I we kind of look past that, and we're very focused on our products and what we're doing and what we're kind of putting out, and very confident in our products. So for these emerging companies, that are opening in Quebec and in Toronto, we look past that, and we just kind of focus on what we're doing right now.